Chapter 24. Uncovering Clues. Riley had the forensic team try and pull fingerprints from the trunk of the cherry tree, even though he knew it was a long shot, and this wasn't a crime series TV show where they do impossible tasks. The forensics team was able to get a partial print not from the tree, but a small piece of paper that they had spotted falling out of the mysterious women's pocket in the crime scene video. Detective Riley wasted no time in involving the forensic team to examine the cherry tree trunk for fingerprints, where the unidentified woman had touched. While it seemed like an unconventional request, and that he knew it was a long shot, and this wasn't a crime series TV show where they do impossible tasks, Riley understood that in a case as puzzling as this, every lead had the potential to unravel the mystery. Reluctantly, the forensics team carefully processed the area where the woman had touched the tree trunk. To their surprise, they discovered a partial fingerprint. However, it wasn't on the tree itself, but on a small piece of paper that had fallen out of the mysterious woman's pocket in the crime scene video. Riley's excitement grew as he realized that this tiny piece of evidence could hold valuable information. He urged the forensics team to prioritize the analysis of the fingerprint, hopeful that it could lead them closer to identifying the woman and uncovering the truth behind the inexplicable events. Meanwhile, Becky, the skilled digital technician, worked tirelessly to enhance the video footage, zooming in on the moment the paper fell from the woman's hoodie pocket. By enhancing the image quality and adjusting the contrast, she aimed to provide a clearer view of the rest of the paper their fragment was part of and its contents. After a considerable effort, Becky managed to reveal some writing on the paper. The text appeared to be a short note, but its meaning remained unclear. It seemed to contain a combination of symbols and cryptic phrases, making it difficult to decipher. Realizing that they might need additional expertise to crack the code, Riley contacted a renowned cryptographer, Dr. Sarah Collins. Dr. Collins was well known for her ability to unravel complex puzzles and decipher encrypted messages. Riley shared the enhanced video footage, the note, and the partial fingerprint with Dr. Collins, hoping that her expertise would shed light on the mysterious woman's identity and intentions. Dr. Collins analyzed the note, her eyes widened with intrigue. She recognized the symbols as a form of ancient Japanese script used in secretive society known for their esoteric knowledge. Although the meaning of the message remained elusive, Dr. Collins assured Riley and the team that with time and careful analysis, they could uncover its secrets. With the investigation reaching a critical juncture, Riley, Officer James, Becky, and Dr. Collins joined forces. They explored deeper into the ancient symbols, fingerprints, and video footage. Detective Riley, we finally have a hit on the fingerprints, Officer James informed him while handing him a vanilla envelope. Detective Riley couldn't believe his eyes when he received the results of the fingerprint analysis. After running the print through local and national databases, they found no matches. However, it was when the print was run through the Interpol database that they made a chilling discovery. Unbelievable. Well, the twists just keep coming. The fingerprint belonged to a little girl who died in 1986 in Japan. It also says her passport was just used to enter the country just a few months ago, Riley informed James, as the revelation sent a shiver through Riley's body. Intrigued and unnerved by this revelation, Riley delved deeper into the girl's background. He learned that her name was Akiko Yamamoto, and she had tragically passed away at a very young age. The circumstances surrounding her death were unclear, but it appeared to be an isolated incident that remained unsolved. Further investigation revealed a surprising twist. Despite her death, there were records indicating that Akiko had been traveling extensively in recent years. She had visited multiple countries across the globe, seemingly defying the boundaries of life and death. Riley couldn't ignore the possibility that Akiko's connection to the mysterious events involving the cherry tree and the samurai figure might be more than mere coincidence. There was a supernatural aura surrounding this case that defied rational explanation, and that was something most of them struggled to accept. To gain a better understanding of Akiko's travels and her recent entry into the United States, Riley reached out to law enforcement agencies in Japan, seeking their assistance and expertise. He requested access to any relevant information regarding Akiko's posthumous activities and her possible connection to supernatural occurrences, a request that drew snickers from the person on the other end of the line. Meanwhile, Riley assigned Officer James to dig deeper into Akiko's background, including her family, friends, and any possible links to the current events they may have. He hoped that by examining her past, they could uncover clues that would shed light on her mysterious journey and the significance of the cherry tree in this strange case. The pieces of the puzzle started to come together. Riley couldn't help but wonder, what caused Akiko's posthumous travels? Was there a malevolent force at play, manipulating the boundaries between life and death? And what was the connection between Akiko, the samurai figure, and the cherry tree? The investigation kept taking many unexpected turns into the realm of the supernatural. It challenged everything Riley and his team thought they knew. With every revelation, the mystery deepened, and they began to believe they were dealing with forces beyond their comprehension. With each having a growing sense of unease, Riley, Officer James, and their team prepared to delve deeper into the ancient legends, occult practices, and dark secrets that lay hidden beneath the surface. They were about to confront a thing that would shake their understanding of the world and push their investigative skills to the limit. After a few days, Riley and his team received a response from the Japanese law enforcement regarding their request for information on Akiko Yamamoto. To their disappointment, the Japanese authorities found the idea of a connection to the supernatural laughable. According to the Japanese law enforcement, Akiko Yamamoto had indeed passed away as a child. They had spoken with her elderly mother, who confirmed that Akiko had been a victim of unexploded ordnance left over from World War II. It was a tragic incident, but there was nothing otherworldly about it. Riley contemplated this new information, realizing that their initial assumptions might have been misguided. The mysterious woman using Akiko's identity might not be supernatural at all, but rather an imposter taking advantage of the deceased girl's records. There seemed to be a more rational explanation behind the strange events, and he started to believe they may have allowed themselves to be misled by a few albeit strange events. While disappointed that their supernatural leads had turned out to be false, Riley understood the importance of following every lead, even if it led them in unexpected directions. He resolved to shift his focus back to the investigation with a renewed sense of determination. Riley and his team turned their attention to identifying the imposter who had assumed Akiko Yamamoto's identity and traveled to the United States. They delved into the girl's short life, looking for any clues that could help them uncover the imposter's motives and connections. As they dug deeper, they discovered that Akiko's family had a history of involvement in cultural and historical preservation initiatives. Her mother, in particular, had been actively engaged in documenting the impact of World War II on local communities. This information sparked a new line of investigation for Riley and his team. They started exploring the possibility that someone connected to the historical preservation initiatives had orchestrated this elaborate scheme, using Akiko's identity as a means to achieve their objectives. The imposter might have exploited the girl's tragic past to further their own agenda. Riley reached out to cultural preservation organizations, historians, and experts, who had knowledge of the local area in Japan where Akiko had lived. He sought their assistance in identifying any individuals or groups who might have a vested interest in using Akiko's identity for their own purposes. As the investigation progressed, a pattern began to emerge. Riley discovered that the imposter had been using Akiko's identity to gain access to historical sites, particularly those associated with World War II. It seemed that the imposter's intentions were intricately tied to the historical events, but for what reason? With many strange questions that needed answered, Riley found himself faced with a perplexing challenge. The imposter using Akiko's identity had seemingly disappeared, leaving behind only a small piece of paper with symbols resembling ancient Japanese script. Dr. Collins had identified the script as belonging to secretive societies, known for their esoteric knowledge. This discovery added yet another layer of complexity to the investigation. Realizing the importance of deciphering the symbols on the paper, Riley sought the assistance of experts in ancient Japanese script and secretive societies. He reached out to linguists, historians, and scholars with specialized knowledge in these areas. Their expertise could be crucial in unraveling the mystery and uncovering the imposter's whereabouts. While waiting for the experts' analysis, Riley researched on secretive societies in Japan. He discovered that these organizations had existed for centuries, safeguarding esoteric knowledge and maintaining a clandestine existence. Their members were known for their deep understanding of ancient scripts and symbols. With frustration setting in and days turning into weeks as Riley tirelessly worked to gather information and collaborate with experts, they could do nothing more than wait for the next murder or lead. Good morning, everyone. As you know, I am Dr. Sarah Collins, and after working with other colleagues, we have made wonderful breakthrough in regard to the script on the paper and what can be identified in the video. The analysis identified the script as belonging to a specific secretive society that had ties to historical preservation and cultural heritage known as Shinobi no Kage, loosely translated to Shadow of the Ninja. Great. First samurais, and now freaking ninjas. What's next, Godzilla? Riley said, full of sarcasm and contempt, not towards the doctor, but how strange the case had become. I'm sorry, Dr. Collins, please continue. It is quite okay, Detective. I understand. We also discovered... Dr. Collins carried on her presentation, provide all the information she and her colleagues were able to find. Armed with this new knowledge, Riley focused his efforts on tracking down any individuals associated with this secretive society. He reached out to cultural preservation organizations, historical societies, and even consulted with Japanese law enforcement agencies again, emphasizing the significance of the symbols and their potential connection to the imposter. One of the experts informed Riley that certain secretive societies had unique meeting places known only to their members. These locations were often hidden within historical sites or disguised as ordinary buildings. The imposter might be utilizing such a place as a hideout or base of operations. With that in mind, Riley and his team conducted extensive investigations, scouring historical sites, examining records, and interviewing individuals with knowledge of these societies. They followed every lead, hoping to uncover a hidden location or gain insight into the imposter's movements. Just as they began to think they were heading down a dead end on one of the interviews, a historian mentioned a rumored meeting place associated with the Shinobi no Kage secretive society in question. It was said to be located within a seemingly ordinary building in a small remote town on the outskirts of Tokyo. The building's facade disguised its true purpose, making it difficult to identify. Eager to investigate this lead, Riley and his team traveled to Japan and made their way to the remote town. They discreetly explored the area gathering information from locals and conducting surveillance. After a few days, through what they figured was more luck than anything, discovered the inconspicuous building rumored to house the secretive society's meeting place. With caution and meticulous planning, Riley and his team approached the building. They coordinated with Japanese law enforcement to secure premises and ensure a smooth operation. The anticipation was palpable as they prepared to uncover the imposter's lair and bring an end to this elaborate charade. Entering the building, Riley couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation mixed with determination. The investigation had taken them on a journey filled with unexpected twists and turns, but now they were on the cusp of discovering the truth. Quickly, along with the Japanese law enforcement, they locked down the area. Though Riley and his team were searching for answers to murders, the Japanese law enforcement were there with others from Ministry of Culture to secure any illegal historical artifacts. Inside, they found a hidden chamber adorned with ancient artifacts, books, and documents, all hinting at the secretive society's involvement in historical preservation and esoteric knowledge. It was a labyrinth of hidden truths and concealed identities. Among the artifacts and documents, they stumbled upon a photograph of the imposter, a woman dressed in traditional Japanese attire, her face partially obscured. It was clear that she had meticulously planned her deception, assuming Akiko's identity to further her own agenda. With the imposter's identity finally revealed, Riley and his team focused their efforts on apprehending her and bringing her to justice. They coordinated with Japanese law enforcement, ensuring that all necessary measures were taken to capture the imposter without endangering innocent lives. Unfortunately for Riley and his team, it appeared those of the Shinobi no Kage had been informed of their discovery and left the facility long before their arrival. Though after a short search of documents with Akiko's name, Riley received crucial information indicating that the imposter was not in Japan, but had returned to Rockbrook City. The revelation surprised the investigative team. Before departing, Riley shared his concerns about Akiko's, but when he mentioned she had a pet fox, all Japanese officers' eyes looked in his direction. "What? There's something I should know about her pet fox?" Riley asked, concerned by their reaction. One older officer reluctantly began to speak. In Japanese folklore, foxes were often associated with trickery and mischief. As you can tell, that many still regard some as much more. Some also believe there are two separate types of fox witches, the kitsune tsukai and the kitsune mochi. The witch foxes offer magical services. They are a powerful trickster, imbued with powers of shape-changing, possession, and illusion. They are very nefarious, many times disguising themselves as women in order to trap men. It is also believed that once a fox enters the employ of a human, it almost exclusively becomes a force of evil to be feared. If this woman you seek has a fox companion, well, I suggest you find a new job. Oh, and don't call our office. The officer and his men had already began leaving before he added the "don't call" remark, finding it difficult to process what he had just learned from the officer, that there were legends and beliefs surrounding fox spirits known as kitsune. Riley used his time on the flight back home to research farther. He discovered the kitsune were believed to possess supernatural abilities and could assume human form. These creatures were associated with both positive and negative traits, depending on their intentions. With this new information, Riley realized that the imposter may have been utilizing the fox companion as a means of deception or disguise. He understood that they needed to be cautious and prepared for many possibilities, but shape-shifting fox witch caused him to laugh. Upon Riley and his team returning to Rockbrook City, they intensified their efforts, gathering additional evidence and working closely with locals to track down any leads related to the imposter's whereabouts, feeling that she was the best way to discover who the murderer in the samurai armor could be. Still, Riley couldn't totally disregard the fox angle of the case, so he reached out to experts in Japanese folklore and consulted with individuals who possessed knowledge of kitsune. Their insights provided valuable guidance that he felt could help shape the investigation. With pieces of the puzzle starting to come together, the team discovered a series of sightings and reports indicating the presence of a woman accompanied by a fox-like creature in various parts of Rockbrook City. Witnesses described unusual occurrences and unexplained phenomena surrounding these sightings, deepening the air of mystery and intrigue. Riley and his team realized that they were dealing with more than just an imposter. They were entangled in a web of supernatural beliefs and misdirects. But for what reason? Determined to confront this formidable adversary, they prepared themselves for a unique and challenging encounter. As they closed in on their suspect, Riley and his team coordinated with others in law enforcement and devised a plan to corner the imposter and her fox companion. They set up surveillance, hoping to catch her off guard and apprehend her before she could escape. The stage was set, and tension hung heavy in the air as they closed in on the imposter's location. Riley knew that the final confrontation would require quick thinking. Riley and his team found it difficult to fully accept the existence of supernatural elements in their investigation. As law enforcement officers, they were trained to rely on evidence, facts, and logical explanations. The idea of encountering supernatural forces challenged their understanding of the world and tested their ability to separate reality from the realm of the unknown. However, as the evidence continued to point towards the involvement of supernatural elements, Riley and others on his team had begun to feel the need to confront their skepticism and expand their perspectives. They unconsciously began to believe in order to solve the case and bring justice to the victims, they may need to embrace the possibility that there was more to the situation than met the eye. While Riley and his team continued their investigation, they found themselves immersed in a world that blurred the line between reality and myth, where ancient symbols, secretive societies, and supernatural forces may intertwine, yet neither wanted to speak the words. The case became a test of their resilience, adaptability, and willingness to accept the unknown, ultimately leading them closer to uncovering the truth behind the imposter's motives and the mysterious world they found themselves entangled in.